I'm KristiBorst with Healing Resonance. I'm going to be sharing 10 prompts to help you connect with your happiness or surrender to happiness. And I'd like to start with just a little focused awareness on your breathing and heart. So just take a nice deep breath in and exhale, and allow for your connection to this information. I love the light that's coming in from the side window at this point. So just connect in with that light and feel that light coming within yourself as you through you. So what does our mindset have to do with our happiness and our reality? It's all interwoven because our expectations, our perceptions, our choices, both conscious and unconscious, our thoughts and our emotions all help shape and create the reality that we're experiencing. And happiness is always a choice, I would say, and within our reach. As we seize small choices, we can expand and grow to become more and more powerful and self-masterful in our happiness and our wellness and our joy. So as I said, I'm going to be sharing some prompts or kind of awareness points to touch upon, to shift in this now moment, because that's the moment that we have control over. So utilizing these aspects of mindsets can lead you to also see how you've been choosing unhappiness. And that could be the way that you springboard forward into happiness. So number 1, awareness equals the power of choice equals the power to change. Question: how can I become more self-aware of my thoughts, my emotions, my beliefs, and my innate power to choose happiness? So the first and very pivotal mindset is awareness. That is becoming more aware of ourselves. Who are we? What makes us tick? Often we're too focused on changing or criticizing or even envying others. And this is just frustrating and also distracting, because the only one we can really change is the one we're here to be. You and me. Number 2, am I letting the actions or inactions of another dictate my happiness? So many people have been taught to avoid their feelings, just go, 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 and not listen or even silence the small voice. And I would like to clarify that the small voice that we want to listen to is loving and encouraging and not criticizing or fearful. So this avoidance on ourselves is a reason why our focus goes to others. But when we can see that physically we're at the center of our own perceptions and everyone else is at the center of their perceptions, it's really unreasonable and almost self-centered to expect another to make their decisions with us at the center, with us as their primary consideration. So we definitely need others in our lives, but it's not anyone else's responsibility to make us happy. So seek and find your inner balance by changing the things that most easily lead you astray. And sometimes that's focusing on others. Number 3, what decisions am I making or avoiding making that are imploding my happiness, or collapsing my happiness, or stealing my happiness. So again, what we're thinking, focusing on, choosing, amplifying, or even negating are part of our experience. So we need to become more aware of those non-physical aspects of our living, because we can really start to function above the brain in this higher self-awareness. And each day we make many, many choices, most without consideration. So being present and being the observer helps us make more conscious choices, which sort of makes it seem like we have more choices. So it's time to see the ways that you've been unwittingly choosing unhappiness, or perpetually choosing unhappiness, and make choices that align you with happiness. And then let that ripple out into our world. The conscious and intentional decision making can catapult you from actor to playwright within your own life. And in this way, you can change the script. Number 4, where do I get continually stuck or habitually stuck in old stories of pain? How am I letting unhappiness take my life's gift, which is the present? So many times we get stuck in aspects of our life, of our story, of our timeline that were meant to shape us rather than define us. So from that higher perspective, that observer self, we can look for these wounds, we can look for these challenges, if you will, and see where there's a way to let go of that pain, to transmute that pain, and heal it as and through ourselves. Because that kind of healing is not only for ourselves, it can also be for our bloodline and our collective. We may be the one that volunteered to come here and transmute this particular kind of pain. So if we keep avoiding it, we're not meeting some sort of, higher goal for ourselves, or higher calling for ourselves. So remember, we can heal our past, present, and our future. Time is really not a lineal construct like our minds see it. So expand your awareness of your ability to change the past, because your past is likely holding you back. For many people, it does. So it's a powerful choice, and it can take us from victim to champion. So really look at your self-limiting beliefs or stories, because there may be lies that are holding you back from happiness. See them from different vantage points, because in every challenge, there's opportunity for growth, expansion, and even happiness. Number 5, where are my greatest opportunities to connect with self-love, inner peace, and balance? Again, take a nice deep breath. And self-love, inner peace, balance, they're there. They're in you. They may be piled with junk, but they're there. And avoiding them is not the answer. A great prophet, Rumi, R-U-M-I, observed that the wound is the place that the light enters us. And if you think about it, light has the most effect on darkness. So rather than hide and avoid the shadow places of yourself, flood them with love, flood them with light. The more light we embody, the healthier our body, mind, and spirit. And if you cannot love yourself in this moment, then look to the past, look to the wounded child self, and love, nurture, and honor them unconditionally. This is a powerful gateway to healing. I have other blogs about the amazing benefits of doing childhood healing work. Number 6, how am I underestimating my value? How am I living a smaller version of myself? So again, there are things that we hold as truths in this world that are not truths with a capital T. One of those is you only have one life to live. So while that's not true, you should definitely seize the opportunities within this life. What labels have you accepted that hold you back? For example, how do you believe based on things that you were told you couldn't be or couldn't do, that maybe it's time to shed those and expand to a newer version of yourself, version 3.0 or 4.0. Literally each day, if we don't look at the calendar, if we have a revolving calendar, each day is New Year's Day when we decide to step forward toward our best life. And quite frankly, if you weren't important to the overall scheme here, you wouldn't be here. So take a moment, pause this video, and feel that. If you weren't important here, you would not be here. You would not have been born to this experience. How are you going to maximize it? Number 7, am I fostering and creating what I do or what I don't want? So we're definitely co-creating this reality, and that's why we need to be aware of what we're creating, what we're thinking, what we're projecting, what we're focusing on. And we rarely will create what it is that we want or what makes us happy if we're vibrating to fear. Love is the ultimate building block. So empower yourselves and others with intentions and attention, envisioning the best outcome. So for example, if you're worried about someone, you're actually sending that fear vibe to them, which in a way they may receive as self-doubt. So empower others, believe that they're on their best path, see things working out for them. Don't be part of the energy that implodes what's good. Number 8. If I imagine myself on a quantum wave of unlimited potential, how can I ride it further? There's the slit theory or the slit experiment. Google Dr. Quantum. And that quantum science showed that we as the observer collapse the wave of potential into a singular outcome. So we have to watch how we're doing that and try to ride that wave of potential further. I think perhaps one of our greatest shortcomings as humans is that we self-sabotage our happiness. Anytime we lack confidence, feel unworthy, play it safe, we are shortchanging ourselves and also our world. As we learn to accept and expect more, we ride the wave further. The abundance has always been there, so it's there now. Riding the wave further takes seeing how we're self-sabotaging. What beliefs have collapsed that wave? What adjustments can be made? Number 9, where have I overlooked my blessings and successes? How can I amplify my gratitude? Now, gratitude is an amazing energy for healing relationships, wounded aspects of ourselves, really healing our world. Celebrate your successes. We tend to focus on the small percentage of things in our lives that are going wrong. We need to turn, sometimes just a fraction of a turn, to see how wonderful our lives are. So watch yourself again. See where you're always focusing on the thing that's not going right. Instead, turn toward the myriad things that are going great in your relationships, in your work, in your passions. Use gratitude. Ground yourself in gratitude. Number 10, am I waiting for my happiness or putting conditions on it? Do I say, if only XYZ happens, or when ZYX happens, I'll be happy? There's an ebb and a flow to life. We've been taught to focus on the flow. And so when there's an ebb, we get worried or we push ourselves to do something. But what if by always avoiding the ebb, we miss that time of receiving when things are coming to us, when, we're getting some sort of upgrade, or when the universe is aligning things to be ready for us. There's definitely a yin and yang balance to life, that ebb and flow. Why not be happy through all of it? The only time you're guaranteed is here and now. Don't delay your happiness. You do not constantly have to do, go, achieve. I assure you, part of your value here is to be that unique expression of joy, light, love that only you can be. Celebrate the flow. Ride it as long as you can. Celebrate the ebb. Receive. Heal. Nurture. The flow will seemingly return quicker when you're happy. And ultimately, you have the power to create what you seek. I like you to imagine a window on your heart. Perhaps there's been a shade drawn there. Lift it. Let the light in. Let that light ignite your joy so that it touches the earth. Open yourself to the love that surrounds you. It's always been there. You just have to be more aware of it. Many times we feel alone, but we're connected. And it's that love that I see adding the extra L in the word alone and shows us that we're all one. Let me know which of these mindsets may have assisted you. If you have any questions, post a comment. Visit my site for pre-recorded chakra emotional healing audios, and also consider one-to-one work with me. I'm here to help support you. I'll post a link to the blog as well if you'd like to read that. So much love to you. Choose happiness. You are here to be.